a nomadic lifestyle, which must have been really quite difficult because he was that much younger than his sisters. So it was almost as if it was just a part of the baggage.
In the British royal family, there's no shortage of intriguing stories and relationships. But one that doesn't always get the spotlight is the bond between Princess Anne and Prince Edward. While they aren't as high profile as some of their siblings, their connection has been uniquely interesting over the decades. From growing up as Queen Elizabeth's children to taking on roles as working royals, there's a lot to explore. Let's take a closer look at the details of Princess Anne and Prince Edward's relationship to discover what makes their bond so distinct. Princess Anne, as the Queen's eldest daughter, was once considered for the throne. However, her younger brother, Prince Andrew, eventually took priority. Do you think this choice fits with the rules of royal succession? Speaking of Prince Andrew, born on February 19, 1960, he had quite a different upbringing. Marked by unique privileges and luxuries his older siblings didn't necessarily experience. It's said he had access to 7 nurseries across 4 royal homes, highlighting the special attention and resources devoted to him and showing just how pampered he was from a young age. Known for his playful and sometimes mischievous personality, he earned the nickname Baby Grumbling, a nod to his cheeky nature. Unlike most kids, though, Andrew's pranks rarely led to serious scolding or consequences. This easygoing approach to discipline may have contributed to a sense of invincibility that has been noticed in his behavior throughout his life. As he grew older, Andrew's tendency to stir things up only seemed to increase, drawing plenty of public and media interest. Yet, the fallout he faced remained minimal, suggesting a pattern of leniency and protection from the usual consequences of such actions. One particularly memorable incident took place after the Pan Am Flight 103 tragedy in December 1988. The airplane exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland, claiming the lives of 259 passengers and crew members, along with 11 residents from the town. This tragic event brought immense sorrow to both the local community and the families of the victims. During a visit to Lockerbie, Prince Andrew made a comment that seemed to show a lack of empathy and professionalism. He reportedly told the grieving community that the tragedy had a greater impact on Americans. While it was true that most passengers were American, his words came across as insensitive, seemingly overlooking the profound grief of the Lockerbie residents. In response, the Queen expressed regret, saying, "I wish I had been there," showing a gentle form of disapproval instead of a stern rebuke. This approach was consistent with how Andrew's behavior was often handled, softly rather than harshly. Andrew's privileged upbringing may have contributed to his sense of entitlement and the belief that his actions would be met with understanding rather than consequences. Growing up surrounded by luxury and indulgence, he may have come to expect a lenient response to his actions. From early childhood pranks to later controversies, the lack of serious repercussions likely reinforced this mindset, explaining his sometimes relaxed attitude and the controversies that have followed him as an adult. This Lockerbie incident is just one instance of Andrew's behavior being perceived as insensitive or out of touch. Did this carefree upbringing lead to a distance between him and his siblings? Or did his siblings feel sidelined by his actions? The rift between Charles and Anne may have been fueled by the noticeable difference in how Prince Andrew was treated compared to his older siblings. Many believe that Andrew received special treatment, a perspective echoed by experts on the British royal family. This idea of favoritism has even become a cultural touchstone, highlighted in the popular Netflix series The Crown, where the 4th season explores Queen Elizabeth II's special bond with her 3rd child, Andrew. It's widely speculated that Queen Elizabeth's preference for Andrew stems partly from the timing of his birth. Prince Charles and Princess Anne were born in 1948 and 1950, when their mother was still Princess Elizabeth. But her world changed dramatically when she became queen in 1952, taking on the immense duties of a monarch while raising young children. This meant that Charles and Anne likely received less personal time and attention during their early years. By the time Andrew was born in 1960, Elizabeth had settled into her role as queen, and the initial challenges of balancing motherhood with her royal responsibilities had eased. As a result, she had more time to focus on her younger sons, Andrew and Edward, leading to a more hands-on approach in their lives. This difference in the Queen's availability has often been seen as a key factor in how her parenting style varied across her children. Many personal stories and examples suggest Andrew received special attention from his mother. Reports indicate that the Queen was more involved in Andrew's daily life, attending his school events and spending more leisure time together than she was able to with her older children. This increased involvement may have fueled the perception that Andrew was her favorite, adding to the tension with his older siblings. Charles and Anne, on the other hand, had a different upbringing. With their mother's busy schedule, they were mainly cared for by nannies and governesses, resulting in less direct attention from the Queen. Additionally, Prince Andrew and the Queen shared similar interests, especially in outdoor activities involving horses, which strengthened their bond. Andrew's friendly, outgoing personality also won him favor with many, including the Queen, who reportedly enjoyed his company. Andrew's upbringing came with a host of resources and privileges, from top-tier education to strong support in his military career, which made his lifestyle more luxurious and financially secure. This led to criticisms of favoritism, with some questioning the level of support he received from the royal establishment. The succession issue has been another point of contention, especially for Princess Anne, who reportedly feels overlooked. While the popular show The Crown gives some insight into royal succession rules, there's more to the story. Despite being younger than Anne, Andrew holds a higher place in line for the throne, following Prince Charles and his children. This order reflects historical guidelines based on gender, rather than seniority, rooted in the old male preference principle. The 2013 Succession to the Crown Act revised these guidelines, making gender irrelevant for those born after October 28, 2011. However, this change didn't apply retroactively, so Andrew still takes precedence over Anne due to the traditional rule that favored male heirs. This order illustrates the broader historical context of gender bias within royal succession. In royal inheritance, traditional practices heavily favored male heirs over female ones, regardless of birth order. Because of this, Princess Anne, despite being older and contributing immensely to the royal household, was ranked lower in the line of succession than her younger brothers. This imbalance became even more frustrating after Prince Andrew was stripped of his royal duties due to controversies, which left Anne, known for her unwavering dedication, reflecting on her diminished position. Anne's commitment has always made her a symbol of duty within the royal family. Even though she's generally practical and grounded, it's only natural if she feels some frustration. She's spent years fulfilling her responsibilities with dedication, yet outdated customs still place her achievements second to those of her male siblings, simply due to her gender. Royal succession history shows the lasting pull of tradition, but it also reveals the monarchy's gradual evolution. The Succession to the Crown Act of 2013 marked a significant move toward gender equality, even though it came too late to impact Anne's position. The act reflects changing societal values while highlighting the unfairness faced by people like Princess Anne. For Anne, the story of royal succession is more than a historical fact. It's a personal journey tied to her lifetime of work and the legacy she'll leave. These echoes of past decisions still resonate through Buckingham Palace, touching the lives of the family across generations. The question arises, how did Princess Anne respond to the challenge of her position in the royal succession? Many in the UK believe Anne has proven herself a fitting successor, garnering public support in response to recent debates about her ranking in the line of succession. According to a report by The Express, numerous readers voiced that it's time to correct historical injustices, emphasizing Anne's attributes and commitment to her duties over outdated gender biases. Princess Anne has long been regarded as one of the hardest-working royals. Her dedication to numerous charitable organizations and her tireless participation in royal duties have set her apart, earning her widespread respect. Many suggest that the monarchy should modernize by revisiting succession rules to value merit and seniority over gender, a view that aligns with broader societal calls for gender equality, which were partially addressed by the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013. Yet this law only applied to those born after 2011, leaving Anne's position unchanged. Even in her 70s, Vanity Fair reports that Princess Anne remains actively engaged in royal duties. Her dedication is particularly notable in contrast to Prince Andrew, whose connection to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal led to his withdrawal from official duties and a reduction in status. In the wake of these events, Princess Anne appears to have absorbed many of the unofficial responsibilities once carried out by Andrew, further solidifying her role as a steadfast, reliable royal. It's important to point out that even though things seem to be shifting, There hasn't been an official change in the order of succession. The current rules still stand, meaning Princess Anne is still behind Prince Andrew's kids in line for the throne. However, Anne is a shining example of what it means to be dedicated to royal duties. She gets a lot of praise for her strong work ethic, always showing up for numerous official events every year. Her involvement in various charitable projects and public functions really highlights her commitment, earning her respect both at home and abroad. Many would say her unwavering service has made her a key player in today's monarchy. Following her brother's recent troubles, Princess Anne has stepped into the spotlight even more. Her constant hard work and dedication to her role show what she's made of. By actively participating in public events and charity initiatives, she truly embodies the spirit of service that the monarchy represents in modern society. The buzz among people about Princess Anne's spot in the line of succession goes beyond just her potential rise to the throne. It reflects how values and beliefs in Britain are changing, especially with a greater focus on gender equality and recognizing merit. Figures like Princess Anne represent society's ambitions, and through her actions and accomplishments, she shows that real leadership isn't about titles or positions, but about being committed to selfless pursuits. Now onto the drama surrounding Prince Andrew. He's been under the microscope for several controversial issues, especially his alleged connections to Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted criminal with a dark history. The whole saga really took off in 2019 when Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's accusers, claimed she was pushed into some shady dealings with Prince Andrew when she was younger. If these claims turn out to be true, they would suggest some pretty serious misbehavior on Andrew's part. Andrew really stirred the pot after his much-talked-about BBC interview in November 2019. He tried to tackle the serious accusations against him, hoping to clear his name. But instead, he ended up facing even more backlash. People weren't impressed with his answers, which came off as lacking transparency and credibility. While he kept insisting he hadn't done anything wrong, he did acknowledge that he'd made some questionable choices when it came to his friendship with Epstein. After the interview, the spotlight on Andrew only grew hotter, with both the public and the media scrutinizing his every move. In early 2020, he decided to step back from his royal duties, partly because Buckingham Palace suggested it might be a good idea. This move was aimed at protecting the royal family's reputation, which was taking quite a hit due to the scandal. However, stepping back didn't put an end to the controversy. There were legal and financial consequences, leading to the Queen cutting ties with him regarding his military roles and patronages. Things got even trickier when he found himself in legal battles. In January 2022, a U.S. judge decided that Virginia Giuffre's civil lawsuit against him could move forward, adding to Andrew's troubles. By February 2022, he reportedly struck a deal with Giuffre, agreeing to pay her a hefty sum without admitting any legal wrongdoing. While this settlement wrapped up the civil case, it didn't really help repair his battered reputation. Most people interpreted the agreement as a sign of guilt, which went against his earlier denials. The whole scandal had a major impact on Andrew's finances and social standing. His once prominent position in the royal family was left in tatters, resulting in a much-reduced role. The mix of serious allegations, a poorly received TV interview, ongoing legal battles, and a settlement that didn't clear his name ultimately did lasting damage to Prince Andrew's reputation and how the public sees him. Since Prince Andrew has fallen out of the public's good graces, there's been a lot of chatter about how this will shape the future of the royal family. The Epstein scandal really rocked the monarchy, leading to plenty of criticism and pushing the royal institution to respond quickly. Taking Andrew off his public duties seems like a strategy to shield the royal family's reputation and steer clear of the negative vibes linked to his scandal. Princess Anne's rising role during this shaky period could be viewed as a stabilizing force, especially since her strong commitment stands in sharp contrast to Andrew's tarnished image. One might wonder how Anne feels about the rivalry between her and her brother. Does the line of succession sit well with her? Despite always handling her responsibilities with great diligence, Princess Anne still finds herself lower in the pecking order due to the traditional rules of royal inheritance. Her brother Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are still ahead of her in the line of succession. So, what does Anne think about her spot in all this? She's known for being practical and down-to-earth, and she's never made a fuss about her position in the royal line. In fact, her actions suggest she's more about serving than chasing power, always putting her duties first over any personal ambitions for the throne. This attitude shows her strong sense of duty, which has been a hallmark of her public life. Given their contrasting personalities, it's no surprise that Princess Anne and Prince Andrew might have different views at times. Princess Anne is known for her no-nonsense attitude and dedication to her royal duties, especially when you compare her to Prince Andrew, who has a more relaxed and sometimes carefree lifestyle. Anne's practicality and Andrew's love for a good time create a recipe for potential family disagreements. She often jokes about herself, calling herself a boring old fuddy-duddy in Vanity Fair, which shows just how much she values traditional principles and her royal responsibilities. This self-portrayal highlights her strong commitment to upholding tradition and getting the job done. You can picture Princess Anne busy with all sorts of public duties, opening hospitals, supporting charitable causes, and keeping the crown's authority intact. Her tireless work ethic and strict adherence to protocol have earned her a reputation as a dependable and serious figure in the public eye. Despite the ongoing debates about succession and the changing monarchy, Anne remains steadfast in her duties, unfazed by the temptations of power or the complexities of royal life. The dynamic between Anne and Andrew adds a layer of complexity to the royal story. While Andrew often finds himself in hot water over scandals, Anne shines with her spotless reputation. This contrast not only highlights their differences but also emphasizes Anne's unwavering dedication to her responsibilities. It's natural to wonder if she ever reflects on her role in the monarchy during quiet moments. On the flip side, Andrew's lifestyle choices often grab headlines, usually leading to some pretty negative opinions. Known for his outgoing personality and love for fun, he can sometimes come off as careless rather than responsible. This tendency to prioritize enjoyment over social norms has made him less popular compared to his sister. The different personalities of Anne and Andrew are clear when you look at their relationships within the royal family. Even though family bonds and love can soften these differences, there have been moments when tensions have flared. A significant incident highlighting this situation occurred when spats between Anne and Andrew happened over a family dinner when they got into a heated debate about Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's ex-wife. David Lee, a co-author of The Duchess of York Uncensored, shared that Anne referred to Sarah as an outsider, which really fired things up. The argument got so intense that Sarah ended up leaving the table in tears. Afterward, Andrew insisted that Anne apologize for her hurtful comment, and she did. But this little drama revealed the underlying tensions between their very different views and personalities. Even with their differences, they've had their fair share of struggles, which gives them some common ground to empathize with each other, though it's not enough to bridge the gap between them completely. During the chaotic early 90s, both siblings faced some pretty significant challenges in their personal lives, a period that Queen Elizabeth II famously called the Annus Horribilis. In 1992, Andrew and Sarah publicly announced their separation after being married since 1986. The media was all over it, scrutinizing them because of Sarah's controversial behavior and rumors of infidelity. The separation process wrapped up in 1992, and they finalized their divorce in 1996. This drama made things even more complicated for Andrew, both personally and in the public eye. Meanwhile, Princess Anne also had a big life change in 1992 when she ended her nearly 20-year marriage to Mark Phillips. They tied the knot in 1973, but faced challenges, including long separations due to work and rumors of cheating. The media certainly took notice when Anne's marriage ended, given her high-profile status and connection to the royal family. After the turmoil in her marriage, Anne found happiness and stability when she married Sir Timothy Lawrence later that same year. Timothy, who had been an equerry to the Queen, became a solid support system for Anne as she navigated the complexities of royal life. While both Anne and Andrew have faced challenges in their marriages, they also share the experience of parenting 2 children each. Anne's children, Peter Phillips, born in 1977, and Zara Tyndall, born in 1981, have chosen to lead more private lives, pursuing careers outside of traditional royal duties. Zara, in particular, has gained recognition for her equestrian talent, a skill she proudly shares with her mother. In contrast, Andrew has two daughters, Princess Beatrice, born in 1988, and Princess Eugenie, born in 1990. Unlike Anne's children, Beatrice and Eugenie hold royal titles and have frequently been in the media spotlight, partly due to their royal roles in various endeavors. Both sisters are known for their charitable work, but have faced significant scrutiny, especially concerning their father's actions, which have had a profound impact on the royal family. Despite their different experiences, Anne and Andrew have likely shared parenting advice, bonding over their responsibilities as siblings. Anne's approach to raising Peter and Zara, balancing their royal heritage with a normal upbringing, might have provided valuable insights for Andrew as he navigated similar challenges with Beatrice and Eugenie. Conversely, Andrew's first-hand understanding of the media's impact on his daughters could have been helpful to Anne in managing their public image and safeguarding their privacy. Yet, Anne has remained steadfast in her commitment to honesty and privacy. She was among the first to support the disciplinary measures imposed on Andrew following renewed scrutiny of his past connections to the late Jeffrey Epstein, which have led to serious legal and reputational repercussions for him. Princess Anne and her siblings found themselves confronted with the challenges posed by Prince Andrew's legal troubles. The allegations surrounding his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein had significant repercussions for the royal family, necessitating a unified approach to safeguard the monarchy's reputation. According to the Daily Mail, Princess Anne, Prince Charles, and Prince Edward engaged in a series of discussions to determine the most appropriate course of action concerning Andrew. These discussions, which included Andrew's participation, were instrumental in establishing a coherent stance for the royal family. The siblings' agreement on the necessity for decisive action alleviated some of the burden on Queen Elizabeth II, who, despite her authority, was grappling with a deeply personal and highly publicized crisis involving her son. The dynamics within the royal family played a crucial role during these discussions. The strained relationship between Prince Charles and Prince Andrew made the involvement of Anne and Edward essential, as their presence helped ensure that the decisions made were perceived as fair and impartial. Given the seriousness of the situation, the inclusion of all siblings, including Andrew, underscores the complexity of the matter and the need for a unified front. Different perspectives can be taken when examining this joint effort. One interpretation suggests that it signifies a collective decision by the siblings to strip Andrew of his royal and military titles, effectively ostracizing him from both family and public life. This action reflects the family's attempt to mitigate the damage caused by Andrew's actions while reinforcing their commitment to the monarchy's integrity. This viewpoint suggests a stern and unsympathetic response to Andrew's predicament, motivated by a desire to swiftly distance the royal family from the scandal. However, these meetings can also be interpreted as a compassionate and pragmatic approach to a complex issue. During these gatherings, the siblings, along with Andrew, sought solutions to ease their mother's burden and tackle the legal and public relations challenges confronting the family. This perspective emphasizes the family's unity and collective responsibility in managing the aftermath, rather than simply abandoning Andrew. Ultimately, the Queen's role remained pivotal as the leader of both the royal family and the monarchy. Her approval and resolve were crucial in this situation. However, the agreement among her children provided her with the support and guidance needed to navigate these unprecedented circumstances. The Queen's authority ensured that final decisions, such as stripping Andrew of his titles and responsibilities, were executed in a manner that upheld the dignity and continuity of the monarchy. The situation with Prince Andrew had far-reaching implications. His unsuccessful attempts to have the legal case dismissed led to heightened scrutiny and pressure on the royal family. The discussions among the siblings signified their united effort to address this family crisis, striving to maintain harmony while managing both legal and reputational concerns. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the next video shown on your screen.